Well, hello there, my fellow cycling enthusiasts. I have went through just about every form of hydration under the sun. Hydration packaging? What would you call like a water bottle? I mean, it's a bottle. Anyway, I have tried every form of water container possible, but through my years of trial and error, I have learned a few things, and I figured now that I have found something a little bit more fancy, I should share it with everybody. Today, I just want to go over very quickly the forms of hydration containment that I have used and why I do or do not use them anymore. So we can call these things hydration carriers. I think that is a more than appropriate term. This is strictly my opinion based. This is strictly my trial and error. So please give all these things out a try. Give all these things a try out, I guess, for yourself to figure out what works best for you because every situation is different. But I have learned a few things. Let's step to it. I will leave a link to anything that I have here down below. Please like, subscribe, do the notification bell thingy if you would. So the first form of hydration carrier and most widely used is, of course, the water bottle. The water bottle, most mountain bikes have at least one bottle cage. If you've got a small frame mountain bike, you may not have one, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is, especially with full suspension bikes. This is what I use primarily 90% of the time. Most of the racing that I do is going to be just an hour and a half, maybe 2.5 hours at max, because everything that I do is a cross-country race. Well, not everything, but I'd say 90% of the year is a cross-country mountain bike race. Or cyclocross, whatever. So even when I train, I like to train wearing what I'm gonna race in. So I'm not gonna wear a hydration pack or anything like that while I'm training because I'm not gonna use it in racing. Also, during a race, I use like a garden stake thing that I just zip tied a bottle cage to. It works, it's nothing fancy, but if I don't have somebody there to hand me another bottle, that's kind of the option that you have, is figure out how to place your bottle somewhere and hope nobody, spikes it, I guess. So the second form of hydration carrier that you can try out is, I call them camelbacks, but I know that's like calling Kleenex when it's just tissue. I think they just call them hydration packs. It's a camelback. Everyone knows what a camelback is. I don't know a lot of people that use them anymore. I was one of the last people in the Cat 1 category to use a hydration pack. They're bulky. Even if you get a tiny one, they suck to wear. Let's be honest, the most comfortable hydration pack is still not as comfortable as not wearing one. They're hot in the middle of summer. There's huge range of them. You can get them all the way from like a Race XC pack to something that actually has rails on it that keeps it off your back. I don't know, the reason I used them is because I was not good enough in a race to reach down and grab a water bottle. I crashed 3 or 4 times doing that. That's why they called me the octopus, because that's what I looked like going through the woods. But I've now switched over to having the ability to pick up a water bottle. So I've kind of reverted to calling a camelback almost like your training wheels for riding and racing. It lets you drink water without the risk of crashing-ish, If all else fails and you're nervous about trying to get a water bottle, it's better to have a camelback on and drink water than it is to bonk and cramp because you're dehydrated. Take that into account, but I do really only recommend a camelback now to people that are just starting out racing, but I do kind of use them as a training wheelish tool now. And then last but not least, we have the fanny pack. It took me so long to even test out one of these. It took a trip to Wilson's to even look at these things, because I'm like, it's a fanny pack. Like, is this freaking like 1993? But yes, it is. You don't wear it like a fanny pack. Technically, they're not a fanny pack. They are considered a lumbar pack because they sit on your lower back, your lumbar. So what is what I term a fanny pack? It is, like I said, a lumbar pack. This is the Osprey Savu 5. So basically there's a few different versions of a lumbar pack. This one is my preferred one. I don't care for the lumbar packs that actually have like a bladder, so it's similar to a camelback, but it has the bladder in it. This one is a what they term bottle carry lumbar pack. So it actually has 2 pockets on each side here for you to stick your water bottles in. You know, 1 bottle in each side, and you've got essentially 3 water bottles at that point. You've got 1 on your bike, 2 on your pack, and this thing has an enormous amount of storage. More storage than my cross-country Camelback that I was using. Its volume is 305 cubic inches. I have no frame of reference with how big it is. How big is it? It's fairly large. It's not so big that it like creeps up my back. I'm not gonna go into details on all the specs. If you want all the specs on this thing, I will leave a link down below, promise. You've got a bunch of compartments on here. So you have your main one that is right here. It's got a couple little holders. That's where I put like my tubes, well, not my tubes, but like my tire levers, that sort of stuff that I'm never gonna take out. I do have a pump in here, and then just all of your nutrition. You could fit a freaking sandwich in here if you really, really wanted to. Then up top here, you have like a water resistant compartment. This is where I keep my phone and my keys. You also have right here where your water bottles go, 2 other smaller compartments. I actually put my sunglasses in one of those because a lot of times I end up having to take my glasses off while I ride because they get fogged up, especially up in Wilson's. On the back of this puppy, they call it the airscape. So they try as best they can to keep this off of your body, off of your lower back, to let some air flow happen. It just makes it a little bit more comfortable. And you've also got some little air pockets on the side here. And this thing doesn't, like, they claim that it's got the, what is it, no creep around, whatever technology. This thing does not, it doesn't creep around. I mean, I only notice it when I'm pedaling hard up the gravel roads. There's no way around it. Like, this thing is not as comfortable as, you know, just wearing a bottle. Nothing is. But for something that I'm gonna carry on my back, this is more comfortable than a Camelback. You don't have something on your shoulders. It's literally low enough that you barely notice it, and coming down some of those rough trails, you never have any idea it's even on there. It doesn't flop around. It takes a little adjusting, because the first time I put it on, I had the front belt too high. Make sure you put it low enough to where it's not cutting into your gut. It's also got these fancy little ties here, kind of to tie off your water bottle. I have not had to use them, but if you are worried about your bottles flying out, you stick them through here and you're golden. They're not going anywhere. Also, one thing that I love about this over a Camelback, if you're wearing a Camelback on a long ride and you have it packed full of goodies, it's very hard to have that sucker on your back and you're sitting here trying to reach back and get your food out. You kind of have to stop and take it off. This one though, while I was riding and it's clipped on, you swing it around to the front, still pedaling along, reach in, get your bar out, PB&J, whatever the heck you eat. Then you're good to go. You can eat while you ride. You don't have to stop, because I'm all about not stopping. It took me so long to get a fanny pack for a couple reasons. One, as you guys know if you watched the videos last year of the racing, I had some lower back problems. I didn't want anything resting on my lower back. Got those figured out. And then secondly, they just did not look comfortable to me. I thought a Camelback would be more comfortable, but as I've gotten a little bit older, I have learned, don't knock it till you try it. There has been so many times in the mountain bike world where something comes around that's new and I'm like, that's stupid. And then I try it and I'm like, I'm stupid. So I did want to throw this out there quickly after I actually used one of these, because one of my previous Wilson's videos, people saw other people wearing this pack, thought it was interesting, wanted to know more about it. This video sounds a little bit like a review of the Osprey bag, but it's not. I learned a lot about Camelbacks over the years, and I've learned to dislike the crap out of them. There's better applications out there, There's better products out there now that weren't around 10 years ago. If you're still using a Camelback, you know, you do you. I don't like them, but this thing is awesome. I love it. And I won't go back to a Camelback after using the Lumbar bag, or a bladder for that matter. Just having a water bottle to me is, I like it so much more. Anyway guys, thank you all for sticking around to the end. I really have to use the restroom, so let's wrap it up. Let's go. Bye-bye.